Hi people, and hello much of the Concarnage crew. This is a bit of a special episode in regards to another YouTuber that I like to collaborate with. It's JC from Rock and Metal Reviews, and he got a comment recently that he had to address, and it was regarding his Green Day review on all the albums ranked, and he had a bit of a negative feedback. And it got me thinking because, that guy, he's such a nice bloke. He's like the Wikipedia of metal and everything. The guy has so much information in regards to music. Love his takes. Great person as well. And it just struck me as odd. Why would you give negative feedback to such a great person? But this is YouTube, and the platform it is always spawns negativity. To anyone who I guess is starting out a YouTube channel, expect to see negative stuff instead of positive comments. That's how at least my channel began. I saw a lot more negative comments than I did positive comments when I began. But hey, everything, it takes time, and eventually you're going to get there. So just get on through it and ignore it. For me, that's kind of how my philosophy has been, and I have received a fair bit of negative feedback over the years. And I've saved a few snippets, what I thought were some of my favourites. And I wanted to share my reaction to, not reaction I should say, my comments regarding this. So let's dive into this, and I'll show you as well what I'm looking at here. So we're going to start with Roger Waters and my 5-minute review, in which Joe Cotter 6803, he writes, "I am suspicious of anyone who wears a hat indoors." Okay. My suspicions have been proven correct. Well, yeah, look, that's hats for you. We are very suspicious kind of people, so sorry about that. But yes, he attended the Palladium in London and witnessed the triumph of artistic endeavour. Big words. The Dark Side of the Moon has been brought up to date. Its message enhanced. Both pieces of work are chronicles of their time, don't stay rooted in the past. It's a bit easy to say that when, this album sold, 150 million records at the time. It's so iconic for the 70s and the band itself. So, yeah, it is very difficult to separate what was Dark Side of the Moon to this pile of shit that it became with Roger Waters. Sorry, but this album is crap. Don't say it was updated and it sounds fantastic, especially compared to the original material. Admit it. Dark Side of the Moon, the 1972 version, the original is always going to be better compared to the Redux. So, yeah, crawl out of your cave in regards to that response. Then we have here Eraser 18574. This is probably the worst review. Probably is. Probably is the key word. Tetstat writes, "While you're all slagging Waters off for bringing a timeless masterpiece up to date with what's going on in the world right now, what is Gilmour doing or done? Nothing. He would not even be here if it wasn't for Sid's demise." Yeah, look, that's an interesting point. I guess that's true as well, but keep this in mind, Pink Floyd wouldn't be the band it is if it wasn't for Gilmour either. Gilmour brought the band to a newer sound, a more accessible sound, and brought them out of that 60s era stuff that they were writing. At the time that Sid was in the band, they wrote some pretty subpar albums. Let's admit it. They're not that big compared to The Wall, compared to Dark Side of the Moon, compared to Wish You Were Here, Animals, name it. Every single album they wrote with Gilmour was much, much better than what Sid wrote with the band. So that comment is a bit interesting to note, I guess. What would Gilmour be doing if it wasn't for Pink Floyd? Well, what would Pink Floyd be doing if it wasn't for Gilmour? I continue on, of course, to Santana Festival and Listen or Erase. This is just a small, short section I just did. Would you listen or erase this album? And I had these comments, better to just erase your channel or erase the channel. I like that comment, actually. I think, though, when I'm going to get 1,000 subscribers, that's going to be on a shirt. Erase the channel. And it's just going to have my logo at the top. I just feel like that perfectly sums up my channel. Another one that we did was Aaron Lewis, frayed at both ends, 5-minute review. There is this little comment here. "Man of Bert, this review was not by a country music fan." No. It wasn't. I am definitely not a country music fan. I don't mind country music. Johnny Cash comes to mind, a bit of Willie Nelson, and Chris Stapleton, who, by the way, also made it into last year's Best Songs of the Year with his song, what was it, White Horse, I think it was. Fantastic track, and a very solid album as well. But no, by no means am I a country music fan. So that's true, but this is barely counted as country music when you're looking at Aaron Lewis. It is contrived shite. Then we have this other comment here by Leslie Wall 6839, and oh my god, there is a lot to uncover here. "You obviously have no idea what you're talking about. Explains the 512 followers. Don't quit your day job, bud. Don't plan to, by the way. When you realize that a self-proclaimed music critic doesn't have a fucking clue about the topic of his infotainment hit piece on a guy you quite obviously don't know anything about, that wasn't spoon-fed to you by idiots. Aaron didn't write "Am I the Only One, You Lazy Excuse of a Critic?" and "They Call Me the Doc." Really, dude? It's about him being the saviour. You Brits should stick to colonialism, tea and rubber biscuits. Your review is as bland and off-putting as English cuisine. Stick to spotted dick and Yorkshire pudding, wanker. Now first up I want to address Leslie with his British comment. I'm Australian, you ignorant American pile of dog crap. As for your taste in music, obviously I've addressed that because you think Aaron Lewis is good. Now, as for They Call Me the Doc, yes, this is a song about his whole organisation, and yeah, it's painted in a way to make him look like the good guy. But, you know, he does do some great things for the charity, but at the same time, he's not the main person doing this. He's just a person who is just leading his vocals and saying, hey, we should donate some food, some money, some help. They don't call him the doc, they just call him a spokesperson. There is a specific word for this. So yes, it is a very contrived song that makes him feel like a bigger person. And Am I the Only One has been covered in depth by Todd in the Shadows and how bad that track was, in particular to how he's angry about knocking down statues from around about the Civil War, in particular Southern generals. So yeah, Am I the Only One is a shit song by a very terrible, album on this regard. Aaron Lewis liked his stuff with Stained, but his solo shit, terrible stuff. This next one comes from my video on One Bad Song on Legendary Albums. We Only Come Out at Night is a great track. So is Vera. Are You Experienced is also a good track. Some bad takes here, and Green Day effing sucks. Wussy Little Lefty Nancy's. Intriguing. I mean, I don't know what to say about that Lefty Nancy's part. I'm a right-hander after all. But in the end of the day, Vera was a terrible track, as I described it on this video. If you don't agree with me, that's your opinion. Whatever. I don't care. Let's move on. And now we come to the main reason I wanted to do this video, because this one person commented several times on my channel on one particular video, and it reminded me, JC, in particular, of your discussion that you had with your person. So this video is my Mike Oldfield saga. It is from the person named CONEMAN3. Prepare for some hot takes, people. CONEMAN3 writes, to begin with, QE2 is brilliant. Love to hear your music, LOL. Just because I don't write music doesn't necessarily mean I can't critique it. I mean, if you walk into a room, for example, and you think, oh, it's a bit dark, are you a lighting engineer? Do you know the lux levels that have to be required for that room to be safely passed by any kind of local council? You know, if you think that the room is dark, that is your opinion. You are entitled to it. And if you think the room is dark, maybe it is. But at the end of the day, you have an opinion on something that you're not really designed to do. But at the end of it, whatever. Apparently, I have to have a degree in music in order to write my critiques on it. If you don't like it, whatever, get on with your life. But no, CONEMAN continues. No clue, dude, stick to Spinal Tap crap. I'm sorry, but Spinal Tap are amazing. There is no denying that. Just because you don't like Stonehenge doesn't mean that we don't.
Yeah. The numbers all go to 11.
Another comment was, go work on a building site or something. Now, I have been on more building sites than I care to imagine. I have been an electrician for 10 years. I've had more job site stickers on hard hats, than more brain cells than CONEMAN3 over here. I've done it for 10 years. I've been on work sites. Great job trying to call me out. Didn't work. Complete fool out of his depth. Interesting comment. I'm only going to say that you got one aspect of it right though. Your guess is to figure out which one. CONEMAN continues with, I'm good at reading people and I don't like you. It's an interesting comment that I have responded to, but at the end of the day, you kind of sound like someone who started studying psychology and then just dropped out middle of the course. And you think that what you have learned actually applies in the real world. I beg to differ. You don't know how to read shit. CONEMAN continues with, I think you are an ESFJ, and this explains a lot. This sounds like some further psychobabble like I mentioned before. I think you've probably watched one too many Ben Shapiro videos, CONEMAN. Put it down the YouTube channel for once and maybe experience the real world if you are continuing to label everything out there I guess it makes it easier for you though. CONEMAN continues, trying to talk with authority but completely lacking it, lol. This is an interesting comment to make because I guarantee, CONEMAN, you are the type of person who doesn't have the authority to be left alone with children unsupervised. This keeps going with, you just don't get it. Music is like that. You can't rate what you can't connect with emotionally. I beg to differ. There are music lists and everyone likes to read them. That's why you clicked on this video after all, isn't it? This is an interesting comment that he made. You are absolutely clueless about music. You seem to base everything on the instruments used. You are so wrong. This work is genius. Keep in mind, this is about a Mike Oldfield review. Mike Oldfield is a predominantly instrumental musician. So CONEMAN, it seems that you are very clueless about the subject matter. Mike Oldfield's first 5 albums barely had any lyrics on them. In fact, they're 43-minute run times of just music. Mike Oldfield is a multi-instrumentalist, and he had no faith in his singing skill whatsoever. And it's why Tubular Bells in its 42-minute runtime only has about 3 lines in the entire runtime. So when you seem to say that you base everything on the instruments used, what else am I supposed to do? When Mike Oldfield, again, is an instrumentalist writing instrumental songs predominantly. Fucking idiot. But my absolute favourite comment that he left me was this one right here. You project Fe in your eyes. You project Fe in your eyes? Like the chemical symbol for iron? Yeah, I guess I do produce iron in my eyes. The last one that I wanted to finish off with was this person who is a massive oxygen thief, a poor excuse of a walking embryo who decided to comment on my little short video about Guns N' Roses and The General. Jorge here just says, the only thing that is not good here is your fat bitch face, punk. Fuck off. This song is so much good that anything you could do in your shite life. I'm trying to decipher that last sentence because maybe he doesn't speak English too well. But this is a very intriguing one because Jorge actually has a very lively channel. He has over 3,000 subscribers, and that's what I found pretty intriguing because he himself is a musician. A musician that likes to take a shot of tequila before playing the flamenco guitar for his viewers. Wow, you edgelord. I couldn't really be bothered going back and responding to this one. In fact, I just deleted it outright. Probably the only comment that I've deleted on this channel. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to comment like this and be not very productive, well, I don't give a shit. But Jorge in particular, well, you were a bit of an intriguing one because I was going to go as far as even giving you your own 5-minute review considering you are a musician. Never did this in the end because Jorge didn't bite. He obviously just didn't care, and he doesn't have the balls to back this one up. So if you see Jorge on his travels, tell him he's a bitch from me. Now, if you want to write and comment on my channel, go and do whatever you want. I don't care. If you want to do negative feedback, go nuts. But just keep in mind that if you are going to swear and do all that kind of stuff, it might get censored, and I may not see it. I do try to pick it up and look at it in the held for reviews sections, but I do not go back to these sections often. Because at the end of the day, if you're responding to me negatively or positively, disliking my video or liking my video, it all just helps my channel. So go ahead and make all the negative feedback you want, because that helps me in the long run. It's going to make my videos more popular, and that's better for me. Thank you for sticking around, and by the way, JC, I hope to see you on my channel soon for, of course, a special episode of Liveless and Erased. Everyone out there, you have a great day, and thank you for watching this weird and wonderful episode. If you've enjoyed this content, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to us, and stay notified for future music-related content because it keeps our manager happy at the end of the day. We are also on Discord, Instagram, Facebook, and all those other social platforms if you want to check us out. As always, people, you have a great day and stay spicy.